The Graphic Organizer Input Chart, or GOIC, is the first step in the Give Me 5 process. And it's the first step because it really gives students a big picture idea of the entire unit. And it becomes a living anchor chart that you and your students can refer back to during the entirety of the unit. As you're thinking about what to make your GOIC about, you'll want to think about a graphic or a visual that is a big picture syllabus of your entire unit. For example, if your unit is about animal kingdoms, your GOIC could be castles representing each of those. Or if your unit is about severe weather, your GOIC could be a world map. If your unit is about ecosystems, then your GOIC could also be a world map. And what that does is it contextualizes the topic and it makes the information really relevant to the students. So have that idea in mind of how you would like to organize your information graphically. Once you have that in mind, then you'll build the GOIC with your students, and you would pencil in the chart, and you would include sketches, you would have bulleted information, and any notes that's relevant. Pictures that you would add, you want to prep those ahead of time, either be prepared to sketch them on the chart or have them on separate cards that you tape to the chart as you go. And working with the students on gestures or American Sign Language for key vocabulary. So decide ahead of time which are the really key vocabulary words you want your students to zoom in on and use gestures as they say those words and read those words with you. Building this chart can take a few days or several days, depending on the scope and the sequence of your unit. And you'll want to think about when you want students to stop and process the information in chunks. And we call those 10-2 prompts, where you give 10 minutes of instruction and then provide 2 minutes for students to process the information in different ways with each other, think pair shares and turn and talks and those kinds of things. And as you're building the chart in front of your students, you'll also always want to consider using the 7 hip pocket tools, which are things like color coding and shape coding, asking students metacognition questions about their thinking, asking them to say and read key words with you, adding lots of visual and sketches, and doing things where you're co-creating it with them so that they are imprinting that information neurologically with you. And then once you've completed chunks of the GOIC, you'll want to pause and allow students to process that information in either a learning log, which we'll be modeling more about that later, or in any kind of a note-taking system that you use.